Welcome back to another episode of AWSG Builds. Today, we're going to have quite a bit of fun. You may even hear some voice actors later. But we probably need to introduce our host and our panelist. So if you don't know me, Brittany Wolfram, I am one of the AWSG Builds core team members and excited to be back with y'all. I would love to know where you're tuning in from as we have our panelists introduced. So Musrat, tell us a little bit about yourself. Where are you located and what role do you have at AWS?
Sure, Brittany. It's truly an honor to be here among such a dynamic and creative community of builders today. I am AI ML specialist solution architect here at AWS, where I help customers, mostly in media and entertainment, to design and deploy AI solutions at scale. It's close to 4 years, I would say, in this role. I have an incredible journey of working in the world of entertainment, whether it's building an intelligent content recommendation engines or enabling real-time transcriptions and translations for global audience. It's always a fun working with these customers. And what truly excites me in this role is that customer conversations, whether it's about their business challenges, their use cases, and picking from there to build a scalable solutions on AWS. Yes, the last part there, but the least, I belong to Philly and a great Eagles fan here.
Awesome. All right, Deep T, where are you at? And I'll tell the team or I'll tell the people where they are at. If they put it in the chat, we'll show it on the screen.
Sure. Hey, Brittany, and hi, everyone. I'm Deepti Tirmala. I'm a senior solutions architect at AWS, been with AWS for 5 years. And I primarily work with customers in the media and entertainment industry. And my specialization is in generative AI and agentic architectures. I'm also having fun helping teams design and build AI-powered solutions that can make it to production easily. That's what we are going to cover today. Today, we are excited to walk you through our personalization solution, which is built with Strands agents and which was easily made to production using Bedrock AgentCore without any heavy lifting involved. And I'm logging in from Philadelphia as well. Go Birds.
Oh, I was waiting for the Go Birds, or at least a little
Yes.
eagle in there. So the commonality between us three that we found out is I used to live in Philly, you all live in Philly, and I miss it. So bring me back. But DC isn't too far away from y'all, so it's not too bad.
Mm-hmm.
We are going to jump into a couple of questions, right? So I'm going to ask our panelists a couple of questions. We're going to answer them. And then we're going to get into a demo, so you'll be able to see it live in action. Of course, we have a recorded backup because we know how technology is. Sometimes it'll work live, sometimes it won't. So bear with us. We'll see if the technology people are letting us work through today. You'll have the opportunity to ask us questions throughout. Don't be shy, just type them in. And we will also be posting some links. So depending on where you're joining us from, if you missed the link, I will also post the links on my LinkedIn in the comments as a recap. So with all of that, Musrat, guests are given, well, with a high level overview, what are we talking about? What are the guests here for?
Yes, absolutely. Today's topic is hyper-personalizations. If I have to say it in one sentence, what hyper-personalizations mean to the customers is to deliver that real-time recommendations that can be tailored towards each individual's. Think this as a difference between any generic top 10 list contents to any personal informations that notes what the customer's favorites are, like what they are in a mood for that day, is what it differentiates from the top 10 list when it comes to recommendations. And today we are going to show in next few minutes it's how the traditional systems where groupers were put in a different segments is not at all the trend now. So agentic AI has completely changed the evaluation of hyper personalization, where each viewer is treated differently, and no two people can get that same experience using the agentic hyper personalizations, which we'll be talking all through this session today here.
Awesome. So I know you just kind of talked about why it matters right now and what problems we are solving. So
Yes.
what is the top problem you think, or is that the only top problem that we have today?
Yeah. Having worked with these media customers for the past few years, I realized that viewers' attention is the scariest resource in media today. If the What I mean by this is, like, if the platform cannot surface the right content fast enough, they are going to lose those subscribers.
Mhm.
And in general, personalizations directly drives the metrics that matters the most in any business, whether it's in media or whether it is in finance or healthcare or anything. Things like increased engagement, higher conversation rates, or even the deeper loyalty, and also the new monetization opportunities like targeted advertisements, and if you say premium upsells, all this gets drive through personalizations. And I would definitely say a scene with the customers, like brands that personalize well differentiate themselves in the crowded markets to reduce churns, mostly by building that connection with their own customers.
Awesome. And I know media and entertainment's changed because my attention span has gone from sitting down for a show for a half hour to an hour to maybe watching 10 minutes of it and get distracted and walk around the house. So, way too many opportunities with media and entertainment to keep us diving in. And as we're continuing, Deepti, can you talk about how recommendation systems have worked historically and are there any limitations?
Sure. In the past, for recommendation systems, we have used traditional approaches like collaborative filtering and content-based filtering. Collaborative filtering is when you find similar users and see what they have watched, and then you recommend content based on that. And content based is again like this person watched this show, so they might be interested in this one. So that way we have offered recommendations. But these both have a serious cold start problem because if there are new users or new content, they do not have any history. So we are not able to say match them to any of the trends and provide recommendations. And again, we have also relied on traditional machine learning training, where model staleness is another problem. So we had to retrain the model again and again so that it catches users, their behavior on the website, or any new content comes in, we need the model to pick it up. So we had to retrain it again and again so that it can pick up on these changes. But again, that is going to be very resource and cost intensive. So that's where the customers, they had to make a trade-off between getting new content or retraining the model. So they had to balance it out, but the recommendations that time never felt real or adaptive.
So, with that, how is Agentic AI playing as a game changer in this industry?
So agents, they have the capability to continuously learn and adapt. So they can take into account users' real-time behavior, their content, and feedback. So as they are clicking on the sites, or when they're you go and like or dislike a particular show, the agents are immediately able to learn and quickly able to update their recommendations based on what user has provided feedback. And now we have also got these MCP servers, which agents are able to integrate with. So they can as well get very good current recommendations. A new content drops in, and our MCP server can quickly give you the information on the new movie or series, and then you can quickly embed it into your recommendations. And it is vast. It's not just movie, but you can also have the weather agent. See, some movies you would feel like watching on a rainy day, which you
Mhm.
usually might not on other times, or seasonal, like Christmas time, you might want to show different set of movies, or some event is going on, game day. So your agents are able to leverage multi-set of tools so that they can get the current conditions, new content, as well as adapt to users' behaviors, and this can feel very, very personalized.
Yeah, it sounds like it. And I've seen it in action. I've seen some of our many media and entertainment folks putting this into play, which is awesome. And you just said a lot of buzzwords. I know AI, MCPs, agents, everybody loves hearing about them. And I'm thinking it's time to dive into the demo. What do you ladies think?
Absolutely.
We're ready for it.
All right, take it away.
Sure. So here, is the screen clear?
Yes.
Right. So today we want to demonstrate this personalized recommendation system built using Agentic AIs. The main advantage of building it using Agentic AI, as what Deepthi mentioned, it removes that heavy lifting with the traditional machine learning models, which needs a lot of uh, data preprocessing, model updates, and much more. And I would definitely want to say this demo is close to my heart because it helps me choose the movies easily, whether it's a lazy movie night or even when I have the guest coming over. Here's why that matters. See, as a user, we often have multiple subscriptions coming across various streaming platforms like Netflix, Amazon Prime, Hulu, you name it. There is a lot of streaming platforms, which makes it always for me time consuming and frankly boring to search and pick each one individually and see like which is the movie that I want to watch for today. Let's get into this demo and see how it solves that problems. I'm going to log in with an user called Jack. We already have some users and their profiles added to the backend. So I hope I'm putting the right password here. So right, yes. When I log in, so the agent is trying to get the trending movies across the various platforms that you see here, right? Some of the movies come from Amazon, some from Paramount, Apple, and and a list of like it gets me the top 10 list movies which are most trending across the different platforms but also the social media, right, which is kind of now underutilized in most of the recommendation systems, but we have included this into it to get this factor. So this is as a top 10 list for these customers. But when you scroll down, you might see that there is a more personalized recommendations, especially for the Jack, based on various input signals. Hold on to this topic like user personal input signals, and I will go more into that. But what I want to showcase is that the different reasons, like when this system is trying to recommend these movies, it is also giving you the explainability of why this movie is being interest to this particular users, right? You see that the sci-fi and the superhero things, and let's go and investigate why it's saying like why this user wants to look into sci-fi or like any superhero movies. Let's dig into that profile, right? So profile has various segments or like various input signals that comes from. This is the registration page where a user can give it all this information when it is first registering into these applications. The demographics based on maybe a gender or maybe what type of occupation they are in or like where they are based out of, the authenticity and so on can add an additional context to the recommendations. The next comes the viewing preferences, and here if you see their favorite genres of Jack is sci-fi, superhero, and there is no reason why the Jack is getting recommended with these kinds of movies. But also, as you see here, the genre to avoid is romance for this particular user. So it has not given any in that situations. And also, there are various kinds of parameters, I would say, or the systems that gives us real context about the user itself. The personal favorites. Uh, So you can add some titles here. There are three examples that's most favorite to these users. Additionally, we have current conditions that also acts as a signal to this generating the recommendation to the specified users. Here we have seasons which might differ, holidays, and what type of audience we are looking at. Currently, we see Jack as a solo audience, right? And that's why we don't have much of family kind of drama, entertainment, anything being prescribed to these users. But let's go with this all this using this different signals. Let's do a recommendations to show that what's happening behind the scenes. So as I said, there are various coherent of input signals like demographics, viewing preferences, and all. Uh, but we can do some level of personalizations here and pick and choose like which one you want to have the interface with this recommendation agents. And once it's selected, if you say generate the viewer descriptions, it takes all the signals and generates a natural language form of a description about the user, right? It's it's perfectly it's a natural it's a common it's summarized in a natural English way, right? So that viewers can directly read this and understand this. And also it talks about the current conditions, it talks about the personal favorites, and so on. So this unique viewer description is most important for this recommendation agent to generate this recommendations. And you can have configure the number of generations that you want to produce, and I click on generate recommendations. So which is the most input that it goes to this agent to generate the recommendations, and you will see that in a few moments it comes back with the user recommended movies based on this description. But also you can see I will show you like how the changing this insight signals can change your recommendations in real time. So again, it's almost in the same um, genre levels of sci-fi. Superheroes is what it's getting recommended. You might see a slight different in the recommendations that came in the trending page than here because the model itself are models that work behind the agents are not deterministic, right? So there might be a different movie coming in depending upon the each time the user asks the request, but it still belongs to the same group of family of genres or like the recommendations. So let's go and see what happens if you change few of the things. Maybe I want to change viewing preferences. I would say maybe the user started liking the romance movies. And also, let me change some things around the current conditions, like maybe it's a springtime and hopefully it's a Valentine's Day. And I'm looking at a couple here right now. So I've saved this profile. Maybe I haven't forgotten to save this here. Let me also save this changes to this profile for that Jack. And now, when I go to this trending page, you will see that this profile is getting built. And also, once the profile is built for this Jack based on these new changes, it's going to find this picks recommendations for this for the Jack.
This is cool. I like how it just goes through and does it. I like to be able to pick versus an algorithm picking for me.
Yes. I gave this app to my husband to try, and he was super, super interested in this. And like every time he comes now, like, can I pick the movie from your app? Like, yeah, absolutely. This is for me to test it out. So yeah, and now it's giving like a kind of sci-fi movies, but it's little more romantic or like a couple oriented movies now. So yeah, The other thing that I want to see is like how you can conversate and talk with this application in an agentic AI way. So I want to ask like what are best cooking shows?
So this is we have developed this so that you might not always want to go for your regular go-to movies. You might like some things, but there might be days when you might feel like you want to watch something else. So that's when this chat feature can come into play.
Absolutely, Dipti. Yeah. The thing is, like, it can, this conversation can keep your preferences and hold the conversation histories. So, yeah, it's giving me the top 10 picks for my Indian cuisine cooking shows. But also, everything is coming from Netflix. But I want to show, do you have anything in Amazon Prime? So here I didn't mention what I'm saying. Do you have anything in Amazon Prime? I mentioned because it. Let's see how it gets the context of from the previous conversation or the previous question that we had. I'm trying to pick up, right? So it still has that context. Like still we are talking about the cooking show, mostly in the Indian style, and it gets you the details, right? So I just want to demonstrate that it maintains the context in the conversation as an agent, and it can also hold it the memory for a long time and have that user preference stored inside the memories using AgentCore. So the interesting thing here. Typing is fine, but now the consumers are moving away from typing and they want to have the voice conversations. So for that, we have included this voice chatbot, and I want to demonstrate this now. Hello.
Oh, we're not hearing audio this time. Oh no.
So do you hear this?
No.
Do you want me
Okay.
to swap?
Yes. Do you want to swap it with the ones that we had?
And I'll just fast forward. So this is what I mean. Technology either loves us or hates us. It depends on the day. So I will pop us right about here.
I think it was around 6:30 mark, right?
Hello.
There we go.
Hello, I'd love to help you discover some great movies or shows. Do you have a favorite genre or any specific platforms like Netflix or Disney Plus in mind?
My niece is coming over this weekend. Can you recommend nice movies for girls under 13 years?
Great choice. For girls under 13, I'd recommend The Princess Bride on Netflix for some classic adventure and Moana on Disney Plus for inspiring animation. Both are fun, engaging, and perfect for a family movie night.
What is the plot of The Princess Bride?
The Princess Bride is a delightful blend of fantasy, adventure, and romance. It follows a young boy who discovers a wonderful story about a princess, a pirate, a giant, and a hero, all intertwined in the magical tale of true love and high adventure.
On which platform is this screened?
The Princess Bride is available on Netflix, making it a perfect pick for your niece's visit. Enjoy your movie time together.
Thank you. That was a good recommendation.
You're very welcome. I'm thrilled you like the recommendation.
So, yeah, Brittany, thanks for bringing that up. So, as you see here now, people can conversate over this and get these recommendations easily.
Yeah, and it looks like we have a couple comments in here. One person's called out that it says pizza time emoji, but it didn't show the exact emoji. We know how they love this. This is what I always say. I'm like, sometimes the bots do these great, and then sometimes they just don't love emojis. So that's always fun. And then it looks like, can you program the model to play third party?
To play the third party streaming apps?
Yeah, it's to me, it's like, can we have it play Netflix automatically or play Disney? Maybe we need to authenticate and then see if it could stream through.
Yes, that's a good question. So here, as you see here, we have this option button called Watch Now. If you click on these things, it will take you to the subscript streaming app. Like if I click here, it will take me to Amazon Prime, where the user can put in his credentials and watch the show. And
Nice.
all this goes through the yes, different to the AgentCore identity and AgentCore gateway functionalities.
Nice. All right. Keep your questions coming. We will keep going through them. And I'm curious. So, Deepti, where does Amazon Bedrock AgentCore fit into this solution?
Sure. Would you like? Okay, let me walk through the architecture first, and then we can definitely take a look. So this architecture you're seeing here is what we have built the solution which Musra demonstrated on. At a high level, this is a containerized agent-driven application running on AWS. As you can see, this consists of traditional web application components like Route 53, ECS cluster, and DynamoDB, as well as it has generative AI components like Amazon Bedrock AgentCore and Bedrock LLMs, Strands agents, and a few MCP servers. So let me walk you through this from left to right. As the new request comes in, like when users visit the website, that's when it hits the Amazon Route 53, where the DNS resolution happens. And then the request is forwarded to the load balancer, which then forwards it to the application, which is running on ECS cluster. Our application is built on React.js UI and Node.js server on the backend. And whatever user preferences you have seen that users have chosen and their movie interest and recommendations, sorry, not recommendation, their previous watching history, everything is stored here in the DynamoDB table. And we are running front end and back end both on different ECS services just for separation of concerns and so they can be scalable. So this is all the basic web architecture that we have been seeing for a long time. So this is where it gets interesting. Now to generate recommendations, we have built the agent on Strands agent. Strands agents is a framework, AWS's own framework for building agentic architectures. What it does is it uses a conversational loop. So it talks to the LLM based on whatever request we have and then gets the response from the LLM, as well as it uses the tools that it is available to it to get more context from it. And then it continuously goes into this loop till it gets the right response and gives it back to the user. And the agent core here is what is helping take this agentic application to production. So here we have AgentCore runtime, which is what hosts our agentic code to run in a containerized way. So any number of requests are coming. It is built on a serverless architecture. So any number of requests that are coming, it is able to scale based on demand. And we have agent core memory here, which is again used to save, where you have seen in the chat when Musarat demonstrated that the follow-up request were, if user is able to save context, agent is able to save context from previous question and answer any further questions that were being asked. So all that context is being stored in agent core memory here. So user doesn't have to repeat the same information and again. So next time when they come in and again they say, hi, my niece is coming over, the agent should be able to remember that, oh, she was under 13 years and she's interested in so and say recommendations based on that. They don't have to repeat saying the same thing again and again. And we have used LLMs here, Bedrock Claude Haiku, to generate the natural language description that we have seen based on users' interest and what they have watched before. And Nova to Sonic, we have used for the voice demonstration that we have seen. It supports bidirectional streaming. So when you speak and you get the response, it keeps a connection open. And finally, the MCP servers that we have used here are IMDb, Serper API, and Tavily. They are what we are using to get what's trending. And then the content recommendations, more details on the content recommendation based on users. And IMDb, as you know, provides more details on the content, like what is the rating and what is the synopsis, summary, and everything.
Looks like we're getting asked, is there a way to integrate what we've already watched? Or is that V2?
No, it is integrated. That's where it is running. So any request that is being sent to get the recommendations is being served through AgentCore right now. So there are, while you are developing it, you can actually run it locally, have the container ready, test it locally, but then you can very easily push it to production. There are a bunch of CLI commands. You just have to run it, and everything's being taken care in the background, and it's pushed to production. And definitely, yes, what we have watched has been built on AgentCore, and any
Yes.
POC you are developing can be pushed very easily.
Awesome. What surprised you most when building this, and what didn't go as expected? Because we always know when you're building something, something's going to give you a head scratcher or really just get right under your skin.
Yeah, what surprised most is that how easy it is to deploy things to production. First, when Agent Core, we heard of Agent Core, it sounded like a very complex concept because there are containers involved, MCP tools involved, but then memory is involved. But you'd be surprised with how the Agent Core toolkit made it really easy for us to deploy to production. So you just have a few commands like create, launch, create, configure, launch. That's it. And then you had to put some tags in the code, and poof, we had everything deployed to production very easily. So that surprised us the most. What was difficult was obviously the voice feature. It was very hard to nail it. Had to run through multiple iterations. Uh, Initially, because we were running it synchronously, and then user asks the question, and then the model responds with the answer. When it processes and gives the answer, there was much latency between the request and the answer. But then what we did was we changed it to streaming mode, so that while the LLM is processing it, it still gets we are still playing the response that's being sent intermittently. So that got it look like a better seamless.
Awesome. All right, chat. Let us know if you have any other questions. I do have a couple questions for you all. So, Musrat, where does personalization apply beyond streaming? I know we've been talking about media and entertainment. What other industries or use cases does this unlock?
Absolutely. Personalization goes beyond like what you watch on Netflix, right? It's reshaping how banks recommend financial products to their customers. Or maybe think about medical field where doctors are giving those tailored treatment plans to their patients. And retail is no back, right? Retail surfaces the right items at right moment. It comes from the personalizations as the back end. We also, nowadays, when you log into any educational platforms, this is adopting the learning path based on each student how it interacts with that platform. So nowadays it's not only limited to any streaming kind of media use cases, but we have variety of use cases. And at its core, it's using the same engines, it's using the same user signals to generate and get that real-time deliveries. Just that the data is different and the outcomes are different, but still we get that personalized experience in each and every field.
So I'm going to put you on the spot. What has been your favorite use case beyond this one, this demo you just did? What's been your favorite use case to solutionize on?
Yes. Beyond this thing, as I mentioned, few of them where like you have to do generalization around different globally. Like you have to translate it, you have to transcribe it, and made that in automated through the audio pipelines. Was a very favorite case because there had a few challenges working in a cross accounts, cross regions, and things like that.
Awesome. Sounds like it's going to make our lives a little bit easier every time we start to deploy things. And I know
Yes.
personalization and recommendations are always some of the toughest things to adjust and try through. So, Deep, what's your advice for the team or for teams who want to start building agentic AI personalization systems today?
Sure. My advice would be to start simple. Don't target to build the entire system at once. So start with a basic recommendation search and responses, and then iterate on top of it.
Mhm.
And definitely use a good framework, like we are using Strands agents here, which is a wrapper around all the features that are available. They don't have to use Strands. There are multiple other options there, like LangGraph, Crew AI, whatever you're comfortable with. Use that, and yeah, definitely use tools and which can get you the current context. We were able to use these tools. Like I said, we wanted to integrate with weather or seasons so that we can get the current context. Users don't have to enter it. We can do it ourselves. Leverage tools so that you can get the current context and make it more personalized to the user. And again, voice feature is great. So user don't have to type, and then they feel more like generic. So I would say, yeah, think of all the features that will make your customers feel special, that this tool is specifically built for them. And then we'll iterate on top of those, and Agentic AI can help you. These days, it's able to help you achieve anything, so nothing's limited. So think like just think out of the box and then iterate on top of it, use relevant MCP servers, and yes, use AgentCore. It's quite simple. Use AgentCore toolkit, comes with CLI commands, and within a matter of minutes, you can move it to production.
Awesome. So, I have a question for both of you. Deep, we'll let you go first.
Okay.
What advice would you have for someone who wants to get started in AI? And I'm asking this because I just met with my mentee earlier today, and she was asking, she's like, AI is a part of everyone's role now. How do we get started? And I had to pause for a second, and I told her I was talking to two very lovely ladies that are in AI. So I figured I would ask you.
Yeah, sure. So I would say AI or building these agentic systems is really accessible right now. You don't need to be a data scientist, or you don't have need a massive infrastructure teams to achieve this. Uh, I would say we have these a lot of frameworks, and then coding tools for sure. Like Cloud Code is great and Kiro is great. Leverage those tools to get started. Uh, Ask it questions because it is again going, they are able to build, and then ask it to explain what it has done. It can explain, like if you're it's not clear, again ask it to explain in layman terms. So it is able to clearly articulate what you're doing, generate documentation. uh, and then what I would say is just think of a problem in your domain, either it is customer support or content discovery, anything, and then use these tools and think of a design. Right now, most tools are coming with spec mode, like Hero and Cloud Code. So you don't have to get into implementation right away. So they give you the design and then the implementation plan, and then run the tasks for you. So you're able to, you have a use case in mind, go through all these steps, and then talk to it, ask it questions, and then give it feedback. And while you're working on it, you will get to learn and get more depth into it.
So just do it. I'm not going to, I
Yes.
won't quote that again. But I think it's one of those things to dive into head first. You can't mess it up. So that's, I think, the perfect place to go into Kiro or something like similar and just try.
And spec mode is definitely helpful.
Yes, that's
Yeah.
my favorite mode. Almost the only mode I use. All right.
I agree. I agree with all what Deepthi mentioned. So definitely we have lot of resources, whether in the form of blogs or even workshops and GitHub samples available for the new users to go through it and get enabled for them before using these services. And also, I would say, depending upon what kind of personas you are, whether you are a business analyst having no coding experience, or you are a builder who does coding in your daily activities, we have services, especially the generative AI services that are fits into each of your persona levels. So we have Amazon Quick, which is an agentic AI solutions where you can automate your flows, where you can chat with your data sources and get your responses and get an insight of your data without having to write the codes. I would say that's the starting point, and you can evolve as you go through, right? As mentioned by Deepthi, we can have the coding assistants to code your little use cases. But in any case, I would say the use case is the foremost important to start with and go from there and pick the services and the to what you want to build.
Yep. And there's plenty of ones to try and start with at the Amazon Labs GitHub, because I know that's where I go when I want to try something new and I don't have the idea yet. I go in there and I see what I can do. There is one more question in the chat, and I'm going to pop this up on the screen. I don't know who would like to take this one, or I can take it, but does the NFL use your products? And I'm going to say, I don't know, because I don't know. Many people do use AWS products, but we got to see what they use and I don't know, reach out to them and ask.
Absolutely. I think in some capacity they are using the AWS services, but we can circle back on that, like thinking what exactly are those things. The one thing that I want to use the Nova Sonic models, I would definitely talk that's being used by our Ring products in personalizing the messages, like when a driver or when any package comes to you, it greets you with their customized messages, which is now done with Nova Sonic models. Yeah, most of the times we just don't sell the products, but we always use them in our products itself, like Amazon.com or any of the services that we have.
All right. I'm going to stay with you, Mr. Out, and tell me, what is the one thing you want people to walk away with today? Because we are almost at time.
Absolutely. The one thing I would say, like, try to have that use cases and start building the stuff. AI is now conquering the world, and like generative AI is not very hard to start with, right? As against the machine learning, which needs a lot of statistical information. Generative AI is now easy to build. So I would definitely recommend building stuff using AWS services, which are very great.
Awesome. Deepti, what's one thing you want the team to walk away with?
I would say on the similar lines, what I've said before, think of a good use case which serves your customer or in your domain. And I love your suggestion, Brittany, that go to GitHub. GitHub has a lot of samples, clone one of them, and again, change it based on what you're planning to do or iterate and build on top of it. Yes, I'll say the same thing.
Awesome. All right. Well, I thought of a use case as we went through this demo. I've gotten to see it a couple times, which I love, but I have to share with you ladies before we log off. I'm thinking I could create personalization of my outfits based off my mood for work. Log in all my clothes and kind of picture what I like, and happy mood versus not so happy mood, got enough sleep, didn't get enough sleep, spring, summer, all of the seasons. That might be a fun one for me to try.
Yes, it's a good one. Takes a lot of time, gives you back a lot of time in the morning. And
Yeah.
Now that you say about it, I'm also thinking maybe a cooking app for the evening. You have your
yeah.
morning time back and evening time back. Sorry,
I just want to
Prashant, go ahead.
scan my refrigerator and pantry and be like, what do I need to make that I
Yeah.
will like?
Just to what Brittany was mentioning, I think currently Rufus in our Amazon.com has that personalized recommendations of what you have to wear as
Mhm.
what top bottom goes. Maybe you can add that mood factor to it, which is not there currently, to add more personalizations.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
I do,
definitely agree.
I do love the Rufus one. You can even put your budget in now and say, hey, I want a spring wardrobe. Here's how much I want to spend. And it just goes. I'm like, it's like personal shopping, but I don't have to leave my couch.
Mhm.
Agree.
Awesome. Well, ladies, I really appreciate you taking the time out of your day to join us today, but not only today, but all the prep time that you put into this and the awesome demo you were able to share. And I would like to remind the chat, feel free to connect with our panelists online. I will throw in their LinkedIns. So there's one, and here's the other. They're also both tagged in my LinkedIn post. So feel free. I publish what we're going to be on LinkedIn every time we can. And we will be back in 2 weeks with a new topic. And we will see you then. Thanks and have a great day.
Thank you.
Thanks for tuning in.